Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third lecture in Autodesk Certified Professional Exam Preparation course for Revit Structure. I'm Murtaza, and today we'll talk about starting a structural project in Revit. The objectives of this lecture is to understand linking and managing files in Revit, how to use copy and monitor tool, which is a very powerful and useful tool in Revit, how to create grids and levels based on architectural model, and how to set shared coordinates and acquire coordinates from site model, and also prepare for the Autodesk Certified Professional exam with the tips and the concepts. Why project setup matters? It is very crucial and important for reducing errors, future problems and issues with others, and also improves coordination. It really is important for you to set up your project correctly. It also important because it controls structural accuracy. If you have accurate levels and grades and accurate coordinates, then setting up your project and putting your modeling your structural elements in a real world coordinates with exact and accurate lengths and dimensions and properties. So you might have a very accurate, high accurate structural model, which helps you then analyze and design your model accordingly. The typical inputs for a structural project, as of course, architectural model, architects first design the spaces, the rooms, circulations, the levels, heights, the grades, and he or she also defines the green spaces and all the spaces for the building, and then you use that architectural model to develop your structural model. So that's the first and important model that you need to have in order to develop your structural model. Another model is the site model. The site surveyors prepare the site model according to site and survey data they have collected from the site. They prepare the topography, which shows the topographic features, the site features, including civil features such as drainage, the roads, and conduits, and so on and so forth. So they prepare contour lines for all the site, and based on real-world coordinates, you need to link that site model and prepare and put your model, position your model in real-world coordinate. You also need a structural template because template defines the line weights, the visibility graphics, and the views, and so on. You need to have the structural template. If you're working in a company, your boss and director provides you the templates and the formats. If you don't have it, then you can use the structural template embedded in Revit. You can use that to develop your own template or develop your model. You also need a BIM execution plan if you are working in a BIM project with other team members. You need to basically achieve certain goals and certain milestones based on timesheet and schedule. That plan is crucial for you to keep in line and follow the roadmap that it provides for you. Using these files is critical and important, and the way you use it is you either link it or import it in your model. Linking keeps the collaboration and coordination, and you can keep yourself updated. You can collaborate and communicate with others with the people responsible for those files, architects, surveyors, and so on. While importing, meaning that you just have a static and embedded file in your project, and it's not dynamic, and then it does not help with the coordination and collaboration. So the best practice is to have linked models and always try to link architectural models and site models. It also helps with correct positioning because site model is very important for you to position your structure in real world coordinates and prepare your design accordingly. It also helps with the transparency and dedicated work sets. Everybody is clear with what they are doing, and that way, it's very good to have a very smooth workflow and process of the design. The tips for recipe exam is that you need to learn the linking. Linking maintains coordination without embedding the models, and it is the best practice for collaboration and also using those inputs and files in your project. Another tool is copying and monitoring tool, and it is very helpful. If you have an architectural model, you need to copy some elements such as levels, grids, some walls, and also the columns, floors, if necessary, and then monitor the changes that the architect might be changing during the course of design. It's a very important and powerful coordinating tool that you need to use that in order to coordinate your design with others. Hey, let's go to the next slide. During copying and monitoring, you need to copy levels. Levels are defined by architect. Grids are also important. You need to um, copy them in order to put your columns with your structural elements such as walls and so on, an accurate position. Walls are also necessary sometimes because it defines the spaces, the room separates those spaces. And usually design the walls, load-bearing walls mainly, and also the columns are also important. You might have architectural columns that need to be changed to structural columns, and you use that column to prepare your structural columns. Why should we use copying and monitoring? It is very helpful for detecting the changes that would be possible. The alignment is also important. It keeps your model and your design aligned with the architectural model and other models. And of course, the site model. Coordination reports are also important. You need to regularly review the coordination reports and identify the changes. Either you accept or reject those changes. You can put your comments, share it with your colleagues, and communicate your concerns and your ideas behind those changes. The exam tip for this part, the copying and monitor, is that it keeps you alerted when the linked elements change. Suppose an architect changes the wall weight or dimension or height. In that case, you get alerted and then you can think about it and decide later how to deal with that issue. Structural grids are designed and put according to architectural grids. It defines the layout of the structural elements, and it really is helping the location of the geometric elements, as walls, columns, and so on. Structural levels control the vertical placement and position of the structural elements, and you need to have the structural levels not just for the stories, but also for foundations, for the roofs, and for slabs in case there is necessary. If additional grids are necessary, you can create additional grids and put it on the grids you already have, and try to have a consistent naming convention, because at the end the design needs to be consistent and looking good. You can also create additional levels for footings, for roof framing, and so on. The exam tip for the levels is that you need to learn and understand the functionality of levels. It controls the elements' elevations, while the grids controls the horizontal location of the geometric elements and the structural elements, such as walls, columns, and so on. Beside the architectural model, you need to have the site file, the site model file, and it's usually a Revit file. The surveyor prepares the site model based on the survey data that they have collected from the site. The site file controls the location and position of the building and also building elements, and it is based on the survey data. Survey data is real world data, shows the location of the topographic elements, civil features, and it is very important for you to link that site file in your project, position your model on that file accurately, both vertically and horizontally. And then once you align your model with that site model, then you can get the coordinates. You can share the coordinates from site model to structural model, and then pin that, and that way it prevents the repositioning of the structural elements. The way you set up the shared coordinates is that you link the model, you position your model, align it with the site model, and then acquire and publish the coordinates from the site model to your model. Exam tip for shared coordinates is that it ensures alignment. And we will do 2 exercises for this tutorial. The first one is linking a model, and the second one is copying and monitoring grids and levels. And the second exercise, we'll talk about the how to add grids and levels and how to set up coordinates. The common mistakes that usually designers and structural engineers do is that they import the models instead of linking the site model or the architecture model. They import that model to their model, and that way they lose the benefits of coordination and collaboration that the linking provides. They duplicate the grids instead of preparing their own grades and levels. They just duplicate it, and that doesn't help. You have to have your own grades. You also ignore warnings, and you should not ignore warnings. You should always keep eye on coordination report and try to collaborate and communicate with your colleagues during the course of design. For assessment, a short question is, explain linking with importing. I think you now understand the difference between linking and importing in a file. Second assessment question is, which tool monitors linked changes? As we said earlier, copying and monitoring is important, and a powerful collaboration tool in Revit that you need to use in order to keep updated with the changes in the linked files. Third question is a scenario-based question. Suppose an architect moves a level uh, 200 millimeters above. So how you get notified, how you get alerted with that change? Of course, you always read the review and review the coordination report and also get feedback from that changes. The key takeaways for this tutorial is that correct setup is critical and you need to coordinate as early as possible in order to avoid rework and errors. Exam tip is again, try to learn the workflow and also learn how to answer scenario-based questions, which comes from real-world experience. Thank you for your time and watching this lecture. If you like it, please share this video with your friends. Try to watch the previous lectures as well and follow the step-by-step design process and workflow that I provide to you. If you haven't subscribed this channel, please subscribe this channel for more videos. If you have any questions, please ask me in the comments. And with that, I end this tutorial and then provide you two short videos for the exercises about this lecture. Thank you for watching and see you later, alligator, and why.